Hi everyone and welcome to this new video on the MyAniMATE3 series. This time we're going to tackle the Rigging Tools tab. So after we have created our character, and I would strongly advise to always use the reference method because that will also give you the opportunity to, create more than one avatar and bring them into the same scene. We're going to make it work with something to animate with. So this tab here is split into four different sections for four different things that we can do, most of which are related to the standard skeleton rig, modular rig setups, and rig controller manipulations. They're all related to the standard skeleton rig. So for now, we're going to pour with the human IK rig, where you can either characterize or create a human IK rig. All right. And what these things do basically is to prepare the character for some kind of animation work. So if we click on characterize, then we should not be clicking after the characterizing on the human IK rig, because characterize is to prepare it for retargeting, and therefore, after you have chosen one of these two options, then you should be moving to the animation tools and do stuff in there to animate. So if you want to retarget an animation that you have, then go with characterize. If you want to animate straight away and be able to select controllers and make poses and whatnot, human IK rig is the way to go. So I will characterize now, and in here for both characterize and human IK rig, we would get the same kind of behavior, where we can choose a name. Now, please don't use avatar. Use any other name or none at all. Is just much better. Avatar, I found out that unfortunately gives us unpredictable results. I will try to find a way to get rid of those issues, but for now, don't use it. And I will call it just Avi. But you can even just leave it like this, empty. It doesn't really matter. It will give it a default name as character. So I'm gonna click on OK. And as you can see now, we have a character called Avi. Now we could bring in an animation, make the characterization for the other skeleton, and transfer that pretty easily. Or we could just go with the human IK rig. So delete the human IK character, make the human IK rig, which will characterize, and also create the human IK rig. So this time I'm not gonna give it a name. And indeed, it got a default character name. All right. So human IK rig also gives you the opportunity to go back to none, and that will just disappear. Control rig, and it will reuse the control rig. Okay, so now that we have the rig right here, if I move this guy down, this girl down, you see that she's bending the knees to lower her hips. Fine. We can also invert the knees, just in case you have some sort of creature where the thing works with the inverted knee. The options there. And the same goes with the arm. 1 and 2. And we invert the elbow. which in that case does not work because it should be bending the other way around. And you see, it's actually bending the other way around. Of course, on her, it's not working, but yeah. So if I make this kind of pose, and I invert the elbows, the thing gets lost. It's a human IK thing, but yeah, you can see it works. You shouldn't be switching from one to another. Anyway, you should choose which mode in knees and elbows should be working like, and stick with that for your animation. Now up here we can go back to full IK and T-pose, and that goes back to a T-pose. Alright, so let's go back to none and delete the human IK character, and let's see the standard skeleton rig, where we can create or remove the standard skeleton rig. Now, make the skeleton visible. I'll tell you that there is an issue with the default pose where the IK, we'll see what that is. The IK does not work well because of this bend here inwards, and while actually it should only have this kind of bend. So if I create the standard skeleton rig, it creates it no problem, fine. But you see that the pole vector target is in a incorrect position. You can just tell that it's facing the wrong direction. That's because of this double bend, and as a result we get this kind of behavior. On the arm, this is even worse because this object is the FK IK switch, which we also have down here to switch between FK and IK. As you can see, the thing really does not work. It's so bad. Cannot do anything about it because that's how not human IK, the IK handles work. So to circumvent this, let's remove the standard skeleton rig, and our friend here goes back to the initial pose. We have to make sure that for the arms, we actually have even a slight bend like this, so that it's straight if you look at the arm from the front, but from the top it has a bending angle. And for the legs, if we look at the avatar from the front, we should try to have this bend here completely straightened out, like that, and then like this. Alright, let's create the standard skeleton rig, and it should be better than before. Yes, it is. Now if we start moving the pelvis here going down, it works way better. It's still pointing inwards, which might be acceptable, and the arm is definitely going to have a way better, but way better behavior. This works no problem because it doesn't have a double bend. It was just too straight, and that one works. Now I'm gonna remove that again. And I'll try to make sure with a bigger manipulator that this thing is actually having the legs straight as possible, which some of you may recognize as a similar problem when using what's the name, um, an AI online animation tool. Right now I just forget the name, but anyway, this is what we should be using, or something down this line. So now, yeah, now it's working perfectly. Okay, and you could be using this for animation. All right. So the main features of this rig are the FK-IK switches here on this rhomboidal object next to the wrist and to the ankle. It also has the IK and FK switch for the fingers, which at default does not work really that well. Again, still for the same issue as before, that's because they are completely straight. So if we wanted to, I guess just these shouldn't be enough. Like that. And rotate them just so ever so slightly. And also the thumb should do on both sides. All right. You see now that their pole vectors are placed in the correct location. We will see how to use this because the use of the fingers IKs should go with the standard skeleton rig tools, and you should be matching these position to the finger position because of course they're planted in 3D space to stay put in place. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Now, for what concerns the back, the spine, all right, here we have two controllers, and these are the FK controllers. We also have an IK system for it. You see, to help you pose things more naturally. The size of these controllers can be controlled and changed using the controllers manipulation section that we are going to see in one of the next videos. But then we also have this for the head. So the neck automatically adjusts itself, so you don't have to worry about the controller for the neck. But with the auto neck attribute here, switching it off will make you able to grab the controller for the neck, and you can animate that separately from the head controller. Okay. And then we have a lot of other options like the space to follow the body and whatever. We're going to cover that more in depth in one of the next videos. There we go. I missed the last one. One of the things that are really cool, aside from following, is that you can just tilt the head sideways using this controller. Now, other thing is that we have the eyes controller. You see that it's following where the eyes controller is. Okay. And yeah, and we have a couple more features that you may have noticed, which is the during animation, the mesh is not selectable. So when we have this kind of setup, for convenience, both mesh and skeleton aren't selectable. This way, okay, that's the controller down there. This way you can focus on selecting more freely whatever you're animating onto, the arm, the leg, whatever, without having to worry about your selection, inadvertently including meshes and joints or whatnot. So you can just forget about them and just go and be sure that whatever you're selecting like this is just controllers. All right, so that does it for today's videos. Yeah, I thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and that you're excited for this new feature and a whole lot of the other features that are available here. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.